The big 40k anniversary is on the horizon, and I personally think this is going to be a big release, a big announcement for something with the Space Marines. I'm sorry, Xenos players, but it started with Space Marines, and it's certainly going to be a party with Space Marines 40 years later. So let's jump in, let's get waffling about it, because the character that you all keep talking about may be coming. So for those of you who don't know, Warhammer 40,000 was birthed in the year 1987. I've also heard a certain legend was born in 1987. And since then, we have had nothing but fun. We've had all the stories, the narrative, the games, the dice, the Primarchs, the Space Marines, the Necrons, the Orcs, the Tau, the Gene Stealers, all these awesome things that we've been playing now for the past 40 years. But now what is coming up is the 40th anniversary of Warhammer 40,000 in the year 2027, which is literally 2 years away, which falls in the 11th edition era, because if the rumors are to be believed, 11th edition is going to be coming out next summer in the year 2026. So that means the 40th anniversary will fall in the year 2027. So with that 40-year anniversary fast approaching, I personally believe that Games Workshop are going to do something big. And I do think it is going to involve Space Marines. Again, sorry Xenos players, but it started with Space Marines, and I think we're going to have the party with Space Marines as well. And the reason I say this is because you have like iconic art pieces like this, which I'm putting up in the background right now. We all know this like Rogue Trader era stuff. You know, some people think this was the heyday of Games Workshop, and rightly so, right? This is when it was all new, it was all incredible, everyone was having a little bit of fun. But what I keep seeing and what I keep hearing through some rumors is that Games Workshop are planning on maybe redoing something big in terms of this first founding of the game. And that, of course, is none other than Pedro Kantor and the Crimson Fist. One of the biggest questions I get on this channel is, where the hell is Pedro Kantor? Valrak, is Pedro Kantor getting a new model? What happened to the Crimson Fist? Technically, the Crimson Fist were one of the original OG chapters, but everything changed with like Games Workshop and the lore and the narrative and stuff, and they became like a second founding chapter, and the Imperial Fist became the first founding chapter of the gene lineage of Rogel Dawn. Now hold on to your foiler hole for this one, because we are going deep down it, because if we believe the rumors for 11th edition, it's stating that the Orcs apparently are going to be the main threat when it comes to the narrative of that storyline. Apparently there's going to be multiple wars across the galaxy, sectors invaded, the green tide is coming, a lot of crumping everywhere across the galaxy, and it would make sense, right, for the Crimson Fist to be at the forefront of this, battling the Orcs. Of course, there's going to be a bunch of other chapters fighting them. Black Templars, well, technically, all the Sons of Dawn hate Orcs. Last War Protocol, you need to understand it, right? But the Crimson Fist are one of the main ones, and they're one of the main ones because their fortress monitor was literally wiped out because of an Orc invasion. You can technically blame a malfunction with a missile, but that wouldn't have happened if the Orcs didn't invade it. Their chapter was nearly wiped out because of this Orc invasion. So it makes sense narrative-wise that the Crimson Fist are there fighting against the Orcs. And of course, since the 11th edition is going to take place during that 40th year anniversary, what if they're planning to do something big with the Crimson Fist because of the 40th anniversary, because they were one of the original OG chapters, that original Rogue Trader artwork that we've just mentioned. They've literally just redone that in the past couple of years. I'm putting it up in the background right now. You can see it. They've made it all new, made it all fancy. What if this is going to be like the main outline of that new edition? Crimson Fist, Pedro Kantor, maybe a bunch of new Crimson Fist models, upgrade decal sheets, everything like that, to really bring out this chapter as a nod to the heyday when Warhammer 40,000 was first started. Now, I personally think that Pedro Kantor is coming. I've heard rumors that apparently he is going to be getting a new model. I don't know what the model looks like or anything like that, but it all makes sense really for Pedro and characters like him to get models, because these are the iconic things that people collect these models for. Not just Pedro Kantor, right? But you've got people like Gabriel Seth, who has literally been left outside. He wasn't in the Blood Angel Codex. Are they planning to do something with him? There's been a lot of talk about the Raptors potentially getting maybe their chapter chapter master or a character from that chapter, because they've been getting a lot of love in 10th edition, maybe going forward in 11th edition as well. Are they going to be fighting the orcs and stuff like that? There's chapters like the Minotaurs, the Space Sharks, where a lot of people want to see this type of love. And they've been getting more and more love from Games Workshop themselves in the terms of narrative books. The Kar-Karanon books that has got a trilogy at the moment. It's probably one of the most popular series out at this moment with Black Library. It'd be stupid if Games Workshop didn't explore this and actually give people the models for these characters that they've been following, that they've been reading about in the narrative. It all makes sense to me, and I do think sooner or later it is going to be coming. Starting, of course, with Pedro Kantor, the Crimson Fist, which I'm tying in to all of this 40th year anniversary with Games Workshop and Warhammer 40,000. Now, since we are down that foily hole, I just want to talk about one other thing. This is kind of connected with the Crimson Fist because it's something to do with the orcs, because I think the narrative has now already begun. We've seen little hints of like the orcs in the Armageddon book when the Black Templars were fighting against Angron and the Blood Crusade and everything that happened in there. But recently they've just released a Black Templar article because of the new Black Templar rules that are coming out, and one of the images, which I'll put in the background right now, shows Black Templars fighting against orcs. And the really interesting thing about this, and I'm going to do a full video dedicated to this because there's so much to talk about, but I just want to cover it briefly in this video, is that is a brand new shot of the Black Templars. Like, this is not just like reused diorama shots. I can tell it's brand new because they've got the brand new Black Templar Ancient on there. They've got the Shouty Chaplain on there. But if you look very, very closely, the icons that are just literally littered over everywhere with the orcs is Gazskull's marking, and we know Gazskull is heading back to Armageddon. We know Helbrecht is currently on Armageddon. Helbrecht's in the background of that picture. For me, this is Armageddon. I think this is a shot from the next edition narrative, and they've cut most of the orcs out. You can just see it's focused on the Black Templars. You can see some orcs in there, right? Just on like the edges and stuff, or hid in the background a little bit, but it's mostly focused on the Black Templars. And the reason they've cut all the orc stuff out is because there is going to be a brand new orc model refresh, range, whatever you want to call it. You know, maybe new Storm Boys and stuff. We've gone down some of those holes before. Again, I'm going to do a bigger video in the future about some of that stuff, but you can see that the narrative now is being set up. The foundation is being laid to build upon with 11th edition that is going to be coming next year. Anyway, Chaprunios, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching to the waffle as always. Again, all my thoughts, all my speculation is just me being lost in the foil. I do think with the next edition, 11th edition, which apparently is coming next year, there is going to be that big 40th anniversary for Warhammer 40,000. 2027 is the year which I think we are going to get some really, really big models to celebrate the launch, the birth of Warhammer 40,000. Are you with me? Do you think I've gone insane? Is a foil betrayed me? Put your thoughts, feedback, you know, your theories, your rumors, everything down there, and we can have a nice little chin wag as we always do. See you now. Have a great day, evening, night, wherever in the world, and bye-bye.